So many business owners. See, already a bad start. Got to cut that out. So many businesses and business owners, they grow these companies. They want to implement EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System. I was one of those people. But the cost of hiring an implementer to get EOS in your company, it costs you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So many people like myself went on a journey or are on a journey right now to start up EOS in their company without having to pay an implementer. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how we successfully self-implemented EOS in our pavement company. So let's get into it. I'm not going to talk about what EOS is. If you don't know what the EOS system is, find another video. I don't want to bog this one down. So EOS is such a great operating system when a company is founded by a very forward-thinking, visionary type person. So that's what I am. I'm very much, I don't like to get bogged down in the details. EOS is great for that. I'm in a market where there's not a lot of implementers. So I very quickly made the decision between the cost impact, but also the fact of a smaller market. I'm gonna self-implement EOS. So what most people do is they get the book Traction. You get the book Traction. That is basically the handbook for how to implement EOS or all the tools inside of it. So what I think most companies do when they mess up and self-implement EOS is that's the only tool and the only book they read. That's the only resource they use. Now, it's a fantastic resource. It is literally the guidebook on how EOS works. So it'll run you through all of the tools and the L10s and how to run a quarterly meeting and all the other tools in the toolbox, like the scorecard. The problem with it is if that's the only method that you're doing to self-implement, it's kind of like you're just being given the information, but there's no real plan on how to properly execute it. So you can learn everything there is to know about it, but how do you actually do it? And that's what this video is really going to help with. So I'm going to get right into it. This is how we successfully implemented EOS for $0. We literally did it ourselves. Well, cost of a couple books, really. So that's the first thing I'm going to tell you. Number one, you have to pick up 2 books. Okay. So Traction, absolutely. Get the book, get the ebook, mark it up, or paper book, doesn't matter. That's a must-have. The book that I think you really need, though, for the purposes of implementing the EOS system, that's even more important, is called Get a Grip. So same author who wrote Traction wrote Get a Grip. Get a Grip is a fictional story. Okay, so it's a fictional story of a $5 million company or so called Swan Industries. And this company is not doing well, lots of infighting, bad culture, not making a lot of money. And it's a story of how they hire an implementer named Alan to implement the EOS system. And it takes you on the chapter by chapter of how they start, with the introductory meeting and then going into the quarterly meetings. And basically you see how EOS works in a fictional setting. And I say fictional because it's true. But the guy who wrote it, you have to remember, has literally implemented this EOS process with probably hundreds of companies. So I have no doubt he took elements from his real world experience. So as far as especially for a visionary type person doesn't want to get bogged down in the details, the best way to learn how to do it is read that book. It is, truthfully, I'm not very good at audiobooks. I don't focus very well. Typical, visionary squirrel brain business owner. I try really hard, but that one book, I had such an easy time listening to, because if you're interested in business, if you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to, rein in the chaos in your company, I think it's a pretty easy book to listen to. You'll enjoy it. So that's step 1. I'm going to tell you what we did for step 2, and it's really unique. And may even be illegal. I don't think it's illegal, but here's what I did. When I listened to Get a Grip and I saw how EOS actually gets implemented, I realized very quickly, I need to do the exact same thing that Alan does in that fictional book. I have to basically be my own implementer. And so the best way that I was going to do that was I was going to use the book Get a Grip as the guideline on how we're going to do it in our company. So in other words, if it happened in that book, we're going to do it at my pavement company. Same thing. Now, to fast track that, I realized like, man, this is going to take forever to like write out all these notes and build my own agenda and like step by step. I don't got time for that. And I'm a millennial and I love technology. So what I did is I played the audible version of Get a Grip. And while it was playing on my computer, just with my volume turned down, I was actually recording the audio. Now, I'm not reselling the book. That's not why I did it. Don't sue me. I recorded the audio so that I had chapter by chapter audio files of the book. And here's another little hack. You don't have to record it at 1x speed. You can literally put it at 2x speed, because what you're going to do with that audio recording now is upload it to a transcription service. So I have an AI transcription service, like it's like an AI note taker. So it usually is used for video conferences, but you can also upload audio files. So that's what I did. I took all these chapters from the book one by one, uploaded them into my AI like note taking app, and I got the full transcription of the book, like just like one big giant paragraph basically for the chapter. From there, step 3. Now I've got this massive transcript, which is helpful. I took that chapter by chapter transcript and I put that into ChatGPT. So essentially what I did is I started a thread on ChatGPT and I told it exactly what I'm trying to do. I said, I'm trying to self-implement the EOS system and I'm going to use you to help me. I'm going to give you a chapter by chapter upload of the book, Get a Grip. And I want you to help build me an agenda based on this book, so how I can implement EOS in my company, Laser Pavement. And so I started firing it in chapter by chapter, and I said, here's chapter 1, here's chapter 2, and I basically forced ChatGPT to learn this book. And when I got to the end, that's when I started like telling it, okay, now I want you to build me an agenda. So I remember telling, like I literally wrote out, I've never implemented EOS and I'm a very busy business owner, but I need something that I can give to my leadership team when we sit down to do the kickoff meeting. Like I need the agenda exactly like it was in Get a Grip. So remove all the names, don't tell anything about Allen or Swan Industries, like make it really generic, or better yet, put my company name on it. And the first response I got back was almost perfect, like so close. It realized very quickly, based on my prompts, what I'm trying to do. So it built me the agenda for that first EOS meeting. I'm actually blanking on what that meeting is called. I'm pretty sure it's called the 90-minute meeting, right? When you start EOS. Focus Day. That's what it's called. So if you were to hire an implementer, they would do a discovery meeting with your company. It's called the 90-minute meeting. The actual, once you commit to the EOS process, the first thing you do is called Focus Day. So as you listen to Get a Grip, or as you read it, you can see how a Focus Day actually gets implemented. I'm looking at all the steps here right now. So you talk about what it's like to hit the ceiling. You build an accountability chart for the first time. You discuss your quarterly rocks. You go over the meeting pulse, because you really need to have the L10 dialed in very quickly. And then you talk about the scorecard. And that's it. So like, this is what's crazy. If you actually hired an EOS implementer, that's the only stuff they would go over with you. They're not going to go over like, the core values, the core focus, the 10-year target, the marketing strategy, everything on like the VTO, basically. You're not going to go through that. So if you didn't have this book and you just read Traction and you're like all gung-ho, like I'm just going to go start up EOS, you're probably going to do it wrong, right? So I took that agenda for our Focus Day. We started our EOS almost a year ago to the day. So we sat down as a leadership team. And that leads me to step 4. Okay. If you're going to self-implement EOS, this is very important, regardless of where you are on the visionary versus the integrator scale. I would probably going to take a guess. Most of you watching this are visionaries because you own the company and you want to do EOS. If you're going to do it, you have to be really, really clear when you sit down with your leadership team, whether it's 3 of you or 10 of you, like be really clear that you're going to wear 2 hats during this meeting. Okay. So you have to wear the implementer hat. So you have to basically be the person that's implementing EOS into your company, even though it's your company that you work at. And then there's going to be times when you're actually building out what your company looks like in the EOS system, where then you can take the implementer hat off and put your company owner, company president, operations hat, whatever your job title is, and then actually engage in the conversation. So you have to be really clear with your leadership team. So when I did this, there was literally just 3 of us because we weren't that big of a company. So I sat down with the 2 other people and I said, this is exactly how this is going to go. Like if we were going to hire someone for $4,000, they would come here and it would be great. But I'm going to try and do both roles. So I'm going to tell you, literally, I'm going to tell you when I have my implementer hat on. Probably should have brought like an actual hat. And then when it's time for us to actually engage as a team, I'll take my hat off, I'll put my company president hat on, and then we'll talk about it. And I think you have to be really, really clear when you sit down with your people. Based on people in my network, because a lot of people in my pavement network have tried to self-implement EOS. Most of them don't do it successfully. They start off okay, but then it just kind of falls off track. And I think one of the big things based on what I hear that messes them up is whoever started EOS can't really wear those 2 hats properly. And it just kind of gets blurry. And it's like you sit down with your leadership team and it's like, well, I think we're supposed to do this, team. Don't do that. Don't do that. Whether you want to use my method of like transcribing the book and building and using ChatGPT to help you build the agenda, like whatever method you use, make it clear to your team, this is how it's going to go. And then I would say the 5th thing after that is, once you start actually rocking and rolling into the EOS program, you've done your focus day, like, same thing. Like you have to make really sure, at least in what I did, I made really sure that we are following that Get a Grip program as closely as possible. So when we had our L10s, we would run it like it is in the book. And definitely like during the early days when we started, we would actually like have traction on the table and everyone was cool about it. We're like, yeah, we actually don't really know what we're supposed to do with this part of the L10. So you'd open up the book, but like just be super open with the leadership team and make sure it flows that way. Last thing I'm going to tell you. So basically everything from steps 1 to 5 in how we did it gets you down the path of your focus day, your 2-day vision planning or your vision building, and then every quarterly meeting after that. And then eventually you do your annual planning day. So we have successfully done that. Like our EOS program is pretty airtight. Thankfully, I'm not the integrator in our company. That's our operations manager is his job title. So he can run those meetings, but he got really dialed in too. Like I made sure, and this is important too, like don't just spring this on your team. I've read this. This is what a lot of business owners do. They read like half of the book. They read half of Traction and they're like, oh my goodness, team, we now have the holy grail. I've saved the business. This is going to change our lives and we're doing it. And then people look at you like, what? Like I actually literally bought the Audible and the book version of those books and gave them to the rest of my leadership team. Because I said like, look, I'm buying it for you. This is eventually what we're going to do. It's going to happen. It's very rare for me to be like, this is what we're doing. I'm usually much more collaborative, but I was like, this is absolutely what we're doing. So take your time, read and listen to this, get familiar with it, and I'll help you bring us to get it started. So, last thing you need to know, EOS does have a program for $500 US dollars a month where you can self-implement it. It's called Basecamp. I've never done it. Okay. Now I definitely looked at it for sure. And what I suspect is most people see the cost of hiring an implementer and then they see Basecamp, which is like fraction of the cost. And they probably think, well, I'll probably just get on it for a month, gather up as much resources as I can in the forms and the books, and then I'll just quit after a month. I can't tell you if that's a good way to do it or not. I don't know. What I can tell you is I strongly suspect it's not because I think you do have to kind of suffer through the process a little bit of really understanding, using that Get a Grip book to really understand like this is how it works. This is how a real company would do this. So I know they have like support resources. I think there's like a monthly call in the Basecamp program. So maybe that's the answer. Like maybe you try it out for a month before you even kick off EOS just to rub shoulders with other people doing it. I decided I don't think it was necessary. I have actually been provided some of the paper version of the EOS resources from someone in my networking group. And I'm not going to lie, like it's good, but you don't need it, right? It was just kind of compiled in paper to run a meeting, but it wasn't nearly as great of a resource as the method I chose to use, which was transcribing the book. So what we do utilize to its fullest potential, and I would highly recommend this, get on a digital version that can host EOS. So I might have this detail wrong. I'm pretty sure if you're in the States, I'm in Canada, by the way. So if you're in the States, I'm pretty sure the program is called EOS 1, or you can use a different program called 90.io. And 90.io, as far as from what I can understand, is an independent company, not associated with EOS, but they license the rights to host it on their program, on their online program. So in Canada, I don't think we can get EOS 1. So our company uses 90. And from what I understand, I think most companies use 90.io. Do it. Do it. You pay I think it's like $25 a month US per seat. And so that's not everyone in your company. That's $25 per leadership team member. Cannot recommend you do this enough. Like maybe I'm just biased because I'm a, curmudgeon millennial who hates paper. Legitimately, Matt knows how I hate paper, but it's so easy to run your L10s. It's got a really intuitive program in there where it keeps your meetings on time, all your rocks, all your issues, which is a huge part of EOS. Anyone on your leadership team can just log in on their phone or on a computer, add issues throughout the week, and then when it's time to run the meeting, it just flows smoothly. Your scorecard numbers will all be there. You don't have to print off and distribute a meeting agenda. Literally, when we do our L10s, everyone if we do it in person, we're all there. We all have our screens open and we can literally follow along. It says the integrator is moving the meeting along and you can see it on your screen. Super cool. Many times we can't be all together, so we'll hop on Zoom. Then someone can just share their screen on a second monitor, show the meeting. And it is awesome. I cannot imagine trying to do key things like reviewing the VTO or especially the scorecard with trying to do that on paper. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I am. I think you should pay the whatever dollars a month to host it. You can build your accountability chart on there. Everything is there. So that's it. That's the process I used. Like I said, we're 1 year into it, so we're not experts. I didn't make this video because Laser Pavement is the experts at self-implementation. I'm just really passionate about that process. I think Get a Grip is absolutely necessary. Read it. Please listen to it. I had great success transcribing it, running it into ChatGPT to build my own agenda. I've actually thought about just giving that agenda away. It needs a little bit of work though. Honestly, it's not that hard you're going to have to listen to the book anyways. So grab an Audible version of the book, get a free transcription service. I'm pretty sure there's free ones out there and try it out, man. I think you'll find great success with it. And when you're actually implementing, I don't know, I think you got to be super clear with your people. This is my implementer hat. This is what we're doing. And then take that hat off and be your actual job title. I think that's the key to success. And I think it's a great, great program. I think EOS is fantastic. I would truthfully make more videos about it, but I don't know. We got a pavement company to run, so we are a little busy. But if you have any questions to this video, drop them down below. I will do my best to answer them. And if you liked it, check out our other content. I'm a big, passionate fan of business. We put out a lot of content here, like podcast episodes, just general business theory, sales and acquiring customers. I'm a big fan of business. So check out our other content, like and subscribe. That would be amazing. I would appreciate it. Matt, you'd appreciate it if people liked and subscribed. Yes, sir. All right. Thanks for watching and good luck implementing EOS in your company.